Okay, so my wife wants me to make a ring for her, so I've never really done that before, so start with something cheap like silver. That way, if I scrap it out, it won't be so bad. And then maybe if I'm lucky, I got something she'll appreciate and can wear for a long time. So, that being said, okay, so what I've done is I got on the lathe and I spun up a plug that's smaller than her ring size. That way, whenever I make the mold, if I'm successful, there'll be enough silver there to cut it out to fit her finger. Okay, what I've taken in here is a nut,
What are we looking for?
and I've spun it down. Let's get this out of the way here.
Maybe an anti-chamber up by these barrels.
In this case right here, I've spun it down to where I know my ring's going to be a size on the outside. Now I'm going to need some mass. But you can imagine how I've got to take this center mold and offset it, because the bottom rings certainly are thinner than they are the top. That being said, I'm going to attempt to take this cast iron pot, drill a hole in it, I tap it back into that, I'll bolt it, put the nut around it, offset it, and then maybe weld it. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but we're going to try it. Alright, so now I've got my mold together. As you can see, I welded the nut, bolted the center piece together so I can take it out later if I need to, and then I offset the diameter ID to the OD, and then I'm going to try to find a way to get this quarters in there. So I found out that if I bend it, maybe I can get a couple in there, heat it up, and start the melting process. If it does it, I don't know. We'll see. What are you doing? Okay, so we've made the mold. We basically had to grind out the steel around the ring. What was left was a ring. Seems like it's got a pit in it, so we'll just make that part of the design of the ring. But the bigger problem is the back end. The material did not flow in the back end. So, that being said, I cut the end of my mold off, put that on the end, probably about like that. I'm going to attempt to take a smaller piece of material, put it in there like so, heat it up, and see if it'll solidify down in that crack. And at that point, I should have a fairly good base ring to start out with my design. Alright, so here it is. You can see where I've filled in the gap. I also had another hole right here that I filled in. And what's left is basically a slug base ring, so to speak. You can see where I've started shaping it just a little bit. And now comes the hard work. I'll either scrap it out or make it work. Alright, so knowing that her ring size is basically 680 thousandths diameter. So I'm taking this inside to basically, you can see it's 684, 687. That's pretty close to what a ring size. 683. Here we got 670. Got a little bit more to go. Basically trying to fit a ring sight on the inside of that. Alright, so as you can see, I made the base ring. And as I go through some of my photographs here that I drew out, or sketches, I'm attempting to bring this around, fading it out on top and deeper down the bottom. And of course over here I'll be deep and then fade it out as well. I'll try to get all this contour carved in a little bit before I drill my hole. I'm not saying my hole will be the last thing I do, but at least if I get my shapes right, then I can center my hole to the shape rather than backwards. Because once I put that hole in there, if I'm not even on it, I'm screwed. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, I'm using a stone and some kerosene to smooth out the contour that we put in with the pencil grinder. So I'll go through different flavors of stone. This gray one's a soft one, don't move material. And then we'll get into some harder stones to get it slick. That way we can polish it. Right now I'm just trying to get it, all the grinding marks out. And as you can see, we're slowly getting there a little bit at a time. Alright, so I've finished stoning it. We'll go into a little bit of compound now and try to see if we can find a way to do some polishing. And we'll go through the motions of polishing. I don't think I'm going to get out all the pits. There's a start. Okay, so as you can see, it's starting to polish a little bit, if you can see a little bit better. We'll see where it goes from here. Alright, so at this point here, as you can see, got some pitting going on, probably because I didn't use borax whenever I melted the silver, but, you know, I never claimed to be a jewelry maker anyway. But so there's the ring. And then of course here's our diamonds we're going to put in there. These should be pretty nice diamonds. Not sure. So now I'll drill a hole in the center and then we'll apply the diamonds in the center of the ring.